What got you to 10K isn't what's going to get you to 30K. And if your content strategy still consists of you telling people to head to the link in your bio, chances are you're just leaving money on the table. So, in this live, I'm going to give you a 10K strategy. 5 tips to create content that sells. And this live is for the service provider or the business owner where you're accustomed to getting sales through word of mouth and referrals. And now you want to be able to expand your reach using social media. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. And as you're coming in right now, I want you to grab your notebook and grab your pen, take note, take action, make some money, honey. Why? Because action takers are money makers, not time wasters. We're going to be together today for about an hour. I'm going to be dropping a lot of gems on how you can use your content in order for you to hit 10K months, 20K months, 30K months, and beyond, no matter what level you are at in your business. As long as you're using or desire to use social media to reach your audience, then this live is going to help you. This live is also for the successful coach where you already have an audience on social media. So you may have 5,000 followers, 10,000 followers, 20,000 followers, and more, but you're not sure how you can convert your followers into customers. We're going to show you how you can do that. This live is also for the ambitious business owner where you seem to be capped at 8 to 10K months and you want to know how you can use social media in order to attract your dream clients, create deep connections with them, and then be able to convert them into customers. That's how we're going to help you today. I'm sharing 5 tips to sell in your videos. If you are a business owner, feel free to drop the name of your business in the chat so I can go ahead and shout you out. This live is for you. As much as I'm here being able to teach you, it is an honor, first of all, but I also want to make sure that I'm helping you. So if you have any questions, feel free to use the chat and I will answer your questions right here live. If you have any questions about your content strategy, if you have been putting out content and it's not converting the way that you like it to, feel free to ask that question and I will go ahead and help you. Again, if you're a business owner, go ahead and drop the name of your business in the chat. If you're not a business owner, but you want to stick around, this live won't really help you, but if you like to be motivated, feel free to stick around and you can let us know where you're tuning in from. So I am Shamar Star Cox, TV producer and marketing coach. My goal is to help 6 and 7 figure business owners create binge-worthy content that gets them seen and gets them paid. Why is that? Because there's a lot of you out here where you have been called to the next level in your business. It's time for you to get seen on big stages. It's time for you to get booked for high-profile podcasts. And yet, when you're using your social media, you feel like the best kept secret. You are the expert in your city. You're the expert in your town, your inner circle. You're getting clients through word of mouth and referrals in your inner circle. You are the best at what you do. And then when you get online, you feel completely invisible because it's hard for your expertise to transfer over into your videos. And so that's what I help all of my clients to do. And that's what I'm going to be helping you with today. This is a 10K content strategy. 5 tips to sell in your videos. So as you're coming in, I teach all of my lives like they're master classes, and I do that on purpose because I know what it's like to be on YouTube. I know what it's like to go to ChatGPT and asking for content strategies, and nothing seems to be working. So instead, you get to learn from an expert who was able to build her business. I'm talking about me. To 6 figures and beyond. I've helped my clients to grow their personal brand to over hundreds of thousands of followers and be able to be booked up for 2 months or more just by selling their content organically, right? So they're not even paying for ads to do this. So if you want to be able to know, how do I post my videos? How do I go live? How do I create organic content in a way that people are attracted to me? I'm actually being a blessing to them and they want to buy from me, then this live will help you. Hey, Kwanda, thanks for joining me. All right, so let's get into it. I want to share a quick story with you before I give you 5 tips to create content that sells. If you're taking notes, you want to make sure you grab your notebook and your pen so that you're able to take notes. And then if you have any questions about your content strategy, feel free to drop that in the chat so that you can, so I can help you. That's the goal. The goal is to help you. All right, so I have a friend, and when she first started showing up online, she decided, I'm going to go live. Right. So this is perfect for those of you where you don't have a funnel built yet and you're not really sure how you can be able to get people into your pipeline and get them to pay you. Right. So if you're accustomed to doing word of mouth and referrals and now you're shifting to online so you can increase your lead flow. Hey, Black Pilot Corner. Thanks for joining us. Right. and you want to shift to online to increase your lead flow, this is what my friend did. My friend started going live to her audience, and all she had was a PayPal account so that they can buy from her. So you don't need to have a pretty funnel. You don't need to have all the works. You don't need to have all the fireworks. You can honestly just keep it real simple. So this is what she did. So anyway, she gets up, she goes live on this particular day, and she notices that only 5 people are on. And she starts to feel discouraged when she goes live and only 5 people are on, because she was expecting that it will be hundreds of people that will be on. And the reason is because the more people that she can reach, the more sales that she can get. And so she had a decision. The decision was, do I exit the live or do I keep on going? Right? So there's a potential that she's going live, she's not going to be able to get sales, and not enough people are seeing her live. So she's thinking to herself, she's starting to feel discouraged. She's thinking to herself, maybe I should just turn off the live. How many of you have ever felt that way before? Like you've just felt completely discouraged or intimidated because not enough people are showing up on your live. You're doing what all the gurus are telling you to do, but when you show up, and you're showing up 5 times a week, when you show up, it's like one person on. Sometimes you're the only person on your live, and it's absolutely frustrating and very discouraging, right? And so that's where she was, and she had a decision. Do I quit this live or do I keep on showing up? Who am I talking to right now where you have experienced that? Or are you listening to me right now and you're thinking to yourself, child, please, I'm still trying to get over my fear of going live, right? But this is where she was. And she had this decision, and she decided, I'm going to stay on and I'm going to be a blessing. I don't care how many people show up, right? And so Black Pilot's Corner said, I've been there, right? So she goes live, she teaches her audience, she blesses her audience, and then she gets off the live. And when she gets off the live, her friend hits her up and says, oh my goodness, that was an amazing live. Me and like 500 other people were so blessed by you. And my friend was like, 500 other people? There was only 5 people on the live. And her friend said, oh, no. I propped my phone up in my office, so my entire office was watching the live. And here's what my friend learned that day: that social media is the best way to multiply your impact and income, even though you can't see it. Even though you can't see it. There she was thinking only 5 people were on the line because all she can see was what the phone was counting in that moment. But what was happening in the background was that she was impacting 500 people and more. There are a lot of you who you're afraid to go live because you think, what if no one shows up? What if only 2 people show up? I've been there too, just this week. I was telling my friend how discouraged I was because I'm going live and I only see a couple of people on, right? And it's very discouraging. But at the end of the day, you don't know how many people you're actually reaching. The numbers could actually be lying to you. Because where you think it's just 1, 2, 3, 5 people on, it could actually be thousands of people on. My other friend this week, she didn't know this, but she sent me a screenshot of me live. She had me up on her TV. You have no idea who's watching your videos. You have no idea who's getting impacted by your content just because you are showing up. So whenever you start feeling discouraged, I want you to think about that. And this is something that God tells me all the time. He tells me what you see in the spiritual is more real than what you see in the physical. What does that mean? This is for all my prophets out there. This is for all my people who operate in the spiritual realm. There are visions that God is giving you for your business. That vision that he has given you is more real than what you're seeing in the physical right now. In the physical, it looks like nothing's working. In the physical, it looks like you're only reaching a short amount of people, a small amount of people. But in the spiritual, there are thousands of souls that you are helping through your content. The question is, will you keep on showing up or will you give up because it looks like you're only getting 100 views on your videos? Will you give up because it only looks like 2 people are commenting and one of them is your mama and them? The purpose of you showing up is for you to make an impact. The purpose of you showing up is so that people can be blessed by you, by your business, by your content. But what a pity it would be if they never found out about you. My friend went on to reaching thousands of more people. Now she speaks on big stages. She has coaching programs that is always booked up. Please, I ended up working with her. I was like, girl, I need you to teach me how to sell in my videos. And she taught me. And because of that, I get to bless so many other people. It's a chain reaction. And I'm pretty sure you've heard this so many times. But your business is not just about you. Your content is not just about you. It's about the lives that you're going to change. It's about the people who are going to come into contact with you. And for those of you who are Christians, I'm going to just talk to my Christians real quick. If you're not a Christian, that's okay. Hold on. I'm going to come back to you. But for my Christians out there, there's a lot of people where they have been burnt by the church. They've been burnt by their pastors, and they are so churched out. They're so tired. And the only way they're going to meet Jesus is through you, through your business. There's a reason why God has called you out of your 9 to 5 and into the marketplace. There's a reason why God has called you out of church and into the marketplace. Because many people, when they encounter your business, they encounter God, the one and only true God. And you never actually have to say his name. So I want you to think about that the next time you're showing up. Who can I bless today? How can I be of service today? Right? All right. So I want to show you, these 5 tips in order for you to create content that sells. That's the goal. How to create content that sells. Here's how to sell in your videos, even if you feel icky, even if it feels slimy, even if you're afraid of sounding salesy. I'm going to show you how you can sell to your audience without all of that. Why? Because selling is actually service. Selling is actually service. When you're showing up for your audience, you're actually serving them. And you're doing a disservice when you don't make an offer. What do I mean by that? When you don't tell them how they can buy from you, you're doing them a disservice. Why? Because information is cheap, but transformation is going to cost you. There is nothing out here worth having without a cost attached to it, without a price attached to it. And so if you think, oh man, I don't want to tell my price because it's too high, you're doing your audience a disservice. And I want to help you to break free from that and to get out of that so that now you are selling to your audience. This is especially for those of you where you're great at selling. You can sell one-to-one, you can sell word of mouth, but when it comes to selling one-to-many, that's where you struggle. You can sell when the person's right in front of you on a Zoom call, but when it comes to you selling live or selling in your videos, that's when you start feeling icky because you have convinced yourself that maybe, just maybe, you are actually trying to convince other people to buy from you. You feel like you're chasing them. You feel like you're trying to force them to buy from you. But honestly, that's just all about you. What about the person who gets to buy? Like, I'm someone who I like to buy. Who on here on this live, and you can just drop a me in the chat. Do you like to buy? Drop a me in the chat if you like to buy. And if you don't like to buy, then that means you have no home, you have no clothes that you wear, you have no food that you eat, you don't have no music that you listen to, you have no entertainment that you're watching, you don't ever go out. And I don't know anyone like that. So if you are telling yourself you don't like to buy, that's not true. Just look around. You wouldn't have the things that you have now if you didn't like to buy. And I want you to think about that when it comes to your audience. They love buying. They love buying. You don't have to convince them. All you got to do is give them what they want. That's the most important thing when it comes to selling, is to give your people what they want. And some of you, when you're showing up, you're trying to give them what they need. I love using this example from finance coaches because I always see it with finance coaches. Like, they'll show up and they'll be like, oh, they need a budget. My dream audience, they need a budget. They need to know how to save. They need to know how to do this. And the reality is your audience don't care about that. They do not care about being on a budget. They don't care about saving. What they care about is what they want. And what they want is probably to go on a luxury vacation. What they want is probably to buy a house. Does that mean that they're going to have to budget and save? Sure. But if you lead with the budgeting and the saving, that's what they need and not what they want. They're not going to buy. But if you lead with what they want, here's how you can buy your house in under a year. I know you've been desiring to save for a house for many years. I'm going to show you how you can buy yours in under a year. And just start teaching content on that. And I promise you they'll start showing up. Why? Because people love to buy, but they love to buy what they want. So how can you shift to selling people what they want? Right? And I'm gonna prove it to you. I like using this example from the Bible, right? Jesus's first miracle that he performed. Do you know what it was? You can drop it in the chat if you know what it was. What was Jesus's first miracle that he performed? If you don't know what it was, it's okay. I'm gonna share it with you anyway. But for my Bible scholars out there, do you know what was Jesus's first miracle that he performed? Yep, water to wine. Water to wine. But he turned water to wine for drunk people. He turned water into wine for drunk people. I think we forget that sometimes, right? These people were at this wedding and they had been drinking already and they ran out of wine and they were like, we want more wine. And Jesus could have said, no, 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 no. I'm going to give you what you need instead, because what you need is bread. What you need is the bread of life. But he didn't do that. He gave them what they wanted, which was more wine. And then he didn't just stop there, because he didn't just give them any old wine. He gave them the best wine ever. So my question to you is, how are you giving people what they want in your content? When you're showing up, are you giving people what they want, or are you giving them what you think they want? Are you giving people what they want? Are you giving them what they need? Because if your sales aren't where you want it to be, chances are your content is really focused on here's what you need as opposed to what you want. So how can you shift that? Right? So that's the first tip when it comes to selling in your videos, is giving people what they want and not what they need. Right? And so one way that you can really figure this out is identifying who your dream client is. I just did this with one of my clients now. We identified her dream client and I asked her 3 questions. I said, who are they? Right? Now, here's the thing. There are some of you in here where you are tempted to be like, my dream client is between the ages of 30 and 45. They are women. And the reality is that's nice and all. But when you're on social media, you can't sell was it demographics? Yeah. Did I say that right? I think it's demographics. You can't sell to demographics when you're on social media. It's extremely hard because there's so many people. So some of you, imagine this, you're selling to people who are between the ages of 30 and 45, and they're women. So now your content would sound something like this. If you're a woman and you're over the age of 35, that could be anybody. That could be anybody. And if you talk to everybody, no one's going to come. So how can you shift to talk to the one person? Right? And so instead, we speak to their pain. We speak to their pain. So I asked her, who are these people? What is their pain point and what do they desire? So what is the pain points of your dream clients? You should have 5 of them. Those 5 pain points become the content that you create. Because here's the reality. When you understand people's pain points, you start to understand nobody wants to be in pain. Does anyone in here like being in pain? Raise your hand. Let me put my hand down because I don't like being in pain. That was actually the biggest thing God had to help me with. No one in here likes being in pain. But what people like doing, people like feeling comfort. People like feeling peace. And so they will pay for that. So what they're paying you for is to help them out of their pain. But you have to be able to identify this. So when I'm talking to my client, I'm asking her, okay, what are their pain points? What are their desires? And she starts giving me their pain points from her perspective. Oh, they want to be able to build systems in their business. I'm like, is that what they want to do? Are they walking around thinking to themselves, oh gosh, Jolly, I really wish I could build systems in my business? And then she had to realize they're probably not walking around saying that, right? I said, so what do they really want? And then she shifted and she said, you know what? They want to be able to scale their business to 6 figures. I said, bingo. Now you're giving them what they want and not what they need, right? Because she showed up online saying, I'm going to show you how to build systems in your business. People would ignore her. Because when it comes to selling in your videos or just selling, period, your goal is to join the conversation in their head, not to start a new one. The conversation in their head is all about how do I get out of pain and how do I get to my desires. For her, their desires is how do I get to 6 figures or how do I get to 7 figures? So now she starts creating content. Here's how you get to 6 figures. Guess what? They're going to be like, I was just thinking about that. How did she know? I was just thinking about that. And that's what you want. You want for people to be like, you're in my head. You're speaking directly to me. If you don't get that, you don't have your people yet. Right? So really focusing on what is their pain point, what is their desire, and give them what they want. I asked her, what are their desires? She gave me one desire of what she wanted for them, which was they want to have a reputation where they are over delivering. And I'm like, are they walking around thinking to themselves that they want to over deliver? And she was like, probably not. That's what I want. I said, exactly. So I said, what do they want? And then she shifted and said, you know what? What they really want is to have returning customers. They want to have returning customers. They want to have high referrals. I said, that's good. Do you see the shift from what they need versus what they want? Like she understands that in order for them to have returning customers and high referrals, is that they have to have what did I say it was? They have to have oh, I just lost it. What did I say it was? They have to have a reputation of over delivering. But if she shows up like that, they're not going to pay attention. But if she shows up and says, here's how you can get returning customers back over and over again, guess what? Now they're listening. So the first thing when it comes to selling in your videos and selling to your audience is showing up and giving them what they want, not what they need. And it's just a simple shift of taking your content off of you and focusing it on your dream client. Hey, Chanel. Yeah, Chanel says, yes, you can't sell systems to people who don't know what that is. Honey, and let me tell you, Chanel is one of my good friends, and she is a master at selling. Sis can teach you all about buyer psychology, all of that. So when she wrote this in the chat, that means something. You cannot sell systems to people who don't know what it is. But what you can do is sell them their desire. What does the system get them? What they're paying for is the outcome of the system. They're not paying for the system. They want to know, okay, how do I increase? How do I scale? And if you show them how they can do that, guess what? Now they want to buy. Now, some of you on here, you're thinking to yourself, but does that mean I have to change my coaching program? Does that mean that I can't teach them this? No. All I'm talking about is marketing right now. When it comes to marketing, you attract people based on what they want. After they join your program, then you show them how to build a system. So you're not changing anything in your program. All you're doing is you're giving them what they want. So I want to give you an example from one of my former clients who was really successful in my program. Her name is Christina. And what she is, she's a career coach, and she teaches men and women how they can land their dream jobs making six figures working from home. That's what she teaches. Now, here's the thing. She could have taught three things on social media, which was resumes, interviews, and negotiations. Those are her three pillars. I mean, she still teaches it, right? But what we had to identify, well, what was the thing that she needed to teach that people would want to buy from her, right? So some of you, you're putting out educational content right now, and the views are low. The engagement is low. And when you tell people to buy, they don't opt in to buy. Why? Because you're not teaching the thing that makes them want to buy. So with Christina, she had three: resumes, interviews, and negotiations. Which one do you think that people were paying her for? I want you to write in the chat. Which one do you think people were paying for? Resumes, interviews, or negotiations? What do you think was more popular with her audience? And every time I ask this question, a lot of people don't know the answer to it. They always answer incorrectly. I mean, I answered incorrectly when I was first helping her, right? But I want you to take a wild guess. What do you think people wanted to buy from her? Like, what made her audience want to buy? Was it resumes, interviews, or negotiations? Right? And I'll just give you a couple more seconds to write in the chat. You don't have to fret about it. I will give you the answer. Right? All right. So, okay, no one wanted to take a stab at it. So for her audience, it was resumes. It was resumes. Of the three pillars, the thing that people really wanted to buy was resumes. So every time she teaches on resumes, she'll either go viral, she'll get dozens of people on her email list. Why? Because this taught us a very good thing about her audience, which was a key ingredient, a key point about her audience, which was they're having a difficult time getting in the door. They're having a difficult time getting in the door. As much as she's a master negotiator and she's great at teaching on interviews, because she worked in her career, she works as an HR person. So she does the interviews, she does the negotiations, she knows what goes on behind the scenes. What people really wanted was, how do I even get in the door? So what is it that you can teach on social media that make people want to buy from you? Now, here's the thing. Christina could have figured that out on her own, but instead of her trying to figure it out on her own, she decided, I'm just going to get help. Because the faster you learn, the faster you earn. And as soon as we figured that out, we figured that out like within the first month of working together, this started taking off. When she joined our 5-day challenge, Convert Content to Cash, she was able to get 30 leads in one day. Why? Because she posted a video. We gave her a strategy. We posted a video. It was about resumes. And 30 people said, yes, I want this in just 5 days. What would that do for your business if we were able to help you and in one day you got 30 leads from one video? How would that shift your business? Imagine now your dream clients are coming from all over. You are accustomed to word of mouth and referrals, but now you have an additional stream of leads coming in. 30 leads in one day. Could you even convert them? How many of you on here would feel confident that you can actually convert those leads? You probably won't convert all of them, but in that moment, you can at least, if you have a good, if let's say your conversion rate is 10%, you can convert at least 3 of those people. And how would it shift your business? What does that mean for you? Does that mean that you can actually hire staff? Does that mean that social media is actually working for you? For those of you who kept thinking, man, social media hasn't worked for me. There's some of you out here where your business is already successful and you have hired a social media manager or you've hired a VA to take care of your social media and you haven't gotten any results from it. And it's annoying because now you're thinking, man, social media doesn't work, although it's working for everyone else. It's not that social media isn't working. It's just that you haven't hired a social media marketeer. There's a difference between a social media manager and a social media marketeer. A marketeer actually is going to take care of the marketing for your business. So when we're showing you how to show up, we're showing you how to do marketing with your content, not just posting. There's some of you in here where you're accustomed to posting just to post. But when you work with a marketeer, we actually show you that you want to post with a purpose, and that purpose is profits. So everything that we're going to show you to post, the goal is to create deep connections with your audience, to be able to grow your following, and to be able to sell. That's the goal. Now, there's some of you in here right now where you're like, oh, I want to be able to monetize my platform, and I want to do that by getting brand deals. I don't help with brand deals. I have a friend who helps with brand deals, so I can send her your way. So if you need help with brand deals, go ahead and shoot me a DM and just type brand deal, and I will send you to my friend who will help you. But if you're a business owner and you want to be able to use marketing, true marketing, I'm not talking about where you're going door to door. I'm not talking about where you have to pay for ads. I've tried that, by the way. It has not worked for me. Paying for ads has not worked for my business yet. I should say paying for Facebook ads has not worked for my business yet, right? So I chose to stay organic right now because I've seen that has brought in the most success for my business, right? And so that's what we show you. We show you how you can do that too. But if you're in here and you're like, I desire that. I want to understand marketing for my business. I'm tired of just posting and not knowing why it's not working. I'm tired of throwing money at ads. It's great having word of mouth and referrals, but what happens when it dries up? You want to have another stream of leads coming in, another stream of income coming in? Then join us in the Convert Content to Cash Challenge. It's a 5-day challenge where we show you how to create content that sells. And not to show you how to create content that sells, we show you how to show up authentically in your videos so that you can reach your dream audience. There's some of you in here where you've been burned by social media because you've worked with a social media manager that told you you got to lip sync on your videos, you got to point, you got to dance. And honestly, you're just too much of an expert to have to do any of that. You don't want to be known for dancing. You don't want to be known for pointing. You don't want to be known for hopping on trends. You want to be known for your expertise. You want to be seen as the person that people are calling for TEDx speaking. You're the host of Essence Fest. You're being booked for conferences. So you already know that your image matters. You don't want to be showing up silly in your videos. You want to show up professionally. And that's what we do for you. We show you how you can build your personal brand and do marketing through your personal brand as the expert that you are. So if you're like, that's me, that's what I want, click the first link in my bio and join us for the VIP experience. The VIP experience, once you get to the page, there's a button there that says join VIP. All you got to do is add that to your cart and check out. And the first 5 people to join us in the challenge at the VIP experience get to join us for our VIP visibility mixer. So it's early access to this mixer. The challenge launches June 2nd, but the mixer is May 30th. And only 5 people will be invited to this mixer. And it's the first 5 people to sign up. And what happens in this mixer is that we get to meet personally. right? So I'm not one of those coaches where you join our program, then you never see me again. No, 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 no. I know what that feels like. I've never experienced it, but I know people have experienced it. Instead, what we do is we actually get to meet personally. So we get to connect on a deeper level. And then I show you how you can boost your brand and how you can get momentum with your content so that when you join the challenge and I show you the strategies, you just take off running. When Marianne had joined the challenge, she was able to have a personal call with me prior to the challenge. We helped her with her messaging, we helped her with her content strategy. When she joined the challenge, the first day she posted, she got 5 leads. Come on now, clap it up. You're not giving us enough credit. 5 leads on the first day of the challenge from the strategies we taught her. The second day, she got 8 leads. Come on now. The last day, she got 3 leads. Sis was able to walk away with over 10 leads for her business. What was that? 16 leads for her business in 3 days from the strategies we taught her. But that's because she had the private session before the challenge. So for those of you who are in here and you're like, yeah, that's what I need. I want to ask my questions. I want to be able to meet Star. I want to be able to be part of a community where it's exclusive. Then join us in the VIP experience for the challenge. But again, only the first 5 people will be invited to this VIP mixer. Right? So you click the first link in my bio. Well, if you want to just go straight to VIP, you can actually click the second link in my bio to just get VIP. If you're in here and you're like, Star, I want to hear you talk. I don't want to leave your live. Feel free to DM me the word challenge accepted, and then I'll personally send you an invite when the live ends. Awesome. All right. Who's learning something right now? We talked about the first tip on 5 tips to selling your videos. The first tip was to give people what they wanted, right? How did that bless you? I want you to drop a me in the chat if it did bless you, rather. So I know if this is landing and if this is resonating. All right. So I want to share this next tip. I want to share 2 things, right? So I think before I share this tip, let me share this part here. When it comes to your marketing, the reason why I'm stressing the marketing for your business is because I've had clients come to me that told me I didn't even know that social media was marketing. They thought that if I just post my videos, it will go viral and I'll be able to get sales. And it's like, no, there's a whole strategy behind this, right? So here's the reality. Thank you so much. Black Pilots Corner said, this is blessing me. Here's the reality. Marketing is the lifeline of your business. You don't have a business if you don't have any type of marketing. Why? Because no one's going to know about you. No one's going to know about you. I want you to think about the big names, Nike, Instagram, right? Nike, Instagram, Forever 21, Gatorade, Poland Spring. If you've ever heard of any of those brands, it's because of their marketing. They didn't start their business and think to themselves, I don't want no one to know about this. No. They started their business and they thought to themselves, I want everyone to know about this. And so it's the same thing for you. In order for people to know about your business, you have to have a strong marketing strategy and system working for you. And that's exactly what we show you in the challenge when we're working with you, whether you join the challenge or you join something else, right? Our goal is to show you how you can leverage the marketing in your business to increase your sales and increase your reach and increase your impact, right? And I want you to think about it. What does it look like you impacting people? Like, let's really sit and think about it. How many people do you want to impact each month? You can write it in a chat if you already have a number. How many people do you want to impact each month? Is it 100 people? Is it 2,000 people? Is it 1,000,000 people? I met a man where his goal by the end of this year is to impact 300 million people. That's a massive goal. But what is your goal? How many people? Like, there's a lot of you on here where you decided, I want to make an impact. But how many people do you want to impact each month? When we start to get to the nitty gritty of how many people by when, guess what? You can start working towards it. But if you don't ever put a number towards it, you'll always just tell yourself, I want to make an impact. Well, how do you know that you're making an impact? How do you know that you're not making an impact? When you put a number to it, 100 people each month, 200 people each month, now you have a vision. It's not just a thought in your head. Now it's a vision. And then you can build a strategy from that. If I want to impact 100 people each month, what does that strategy look like? Do you see how in just 30 seconds, that impact of an idea went from it being an idea to it actually having a strategy? That's what we do when it comes to marketing. It's not just to post, it's posting with a purpose. It's you having a strategy behind it so that you can work the strategy and know that it's working for you. So that now when you're posting, it actually makes sense. And it doesn't feel like you're just posting and no one's seeing it because you know that your strategy is working. All right, Black Pilot's Corner said, I need to remind myself to think big. That part. I'm happy you said that because there's some of you in here. Hey, Tamara, how you doing, honey? Hey, Amazing Digital Life. I haven't seen you in a while. You snuck in here, right? There's some of you in here where you desire to make an impact, but you're like, if I could just reach one person, how many of you have ever said that out of your mouth? If I could just reach one person, then I'll be good. I'm going to tell you right now, you're settling. You're settling. No one joins social media to reach one person. If you want to just reach one person, stick to word of mouth, stick to referrals. But no one joins social media to reach one person. That's like bizarre. You, my dear, was called to reach the masses. That's why you have a desire for social media. You were called to reach the masses. When Jesus came off his throne in heaven, he didn't come off his throne to reach one person. That'd be bizarre. He probably would have just said someone. Instead, he came off his throne to what? To reach the masses, AKA the world. Because he knew if I come to this earth and I reach these people, their lives will be changed. So please stop settling for reaching one person and actually start telling yourself, I want to reach 100 people each month, 200 people each month, 300 million people by the end of the year, and put a strategy behind it. Sometimes the reason why we don't want to dream bigger is because we don't want to be disappointed. And I know that feeling because I've been disappointed many times in my life. I've been disappointed from prayers that I've prayed. I've been disappointed from desires that I've had that hasn't even come to pass. Who am I talking to right now where you just have this deep disappointment? You had this desire in your life to reach a lot of people. You have a desire for your business to transform lives. Some of you just have a desire for being married, but I am not a relationship coach, so I will not go down that path. But you have this desire and it's not coming to pass. You just keep hitting disappointment after disappointment after disappointment, and it's making you despondent. Despondent means that you're starting to feel hopeless, like this thing is never going to happen. I know that disappointment. I have experienced it. And then I realized that part of the journey is actually experiencing this disappointment. I didn't want to accept it because I was like, it hurts too much. But the reality is, how would your character get built if you never went through the disappointment? I was listening to this YouTube video by Myron Golden. I can't remember the name of it, but he was talking about appointment and disappointment and something else, right? But pretty much like, oh, here it was. There is disappointment in between the anointing and the appointing. That's what it was, right? So he gave the story of David. David, before he became king, he was anointed to be king at 15, right? So I'm not king. What's his name? Samuel, the prophet, came to David and he anointed him at 15. But his appointment for him to be king wasn't going to happen until after he was 30. So that was 15 years. What happened in between the 15 years was disappointment. So Myron Golden was sharing that on your journey to appointment will be disappointment. But that disappointment is to build your character. It's to strengthen you. Why? Because there are many of you who are listening to me right now. You were called to have $1 million businesses and $1 billion businesses, but you can't build that with a poverty mindset. You can't build that charging $2 for your product. Okay, you can because Walmart was able to do that. So if you were called to sell low ticket, carry on, right? But you can't do that with an employee mindset. You got to have a visionary mindset. You got to have a CEO mindset in order for you to do that. And in order for that to happen, guess what? You're going to go through some disappointments. It's your character building season. I'm talking to myself right now because that's what's happened to me. It's been years of disappointment. I mean, just a couple of days ago, I was praying on my live video, right before my live. I prayed, I said, Lord, help me not to focus on the numbers. And as soon as I said amen, guess what happened? I started focusing on the numbers. Why? Because I hit to go live and the live didn't actually happen. So I was talking for a good 30 seconds and it was just me. And I felt like, really, Lord, that's how you chose to do it? Just like that. And I kept stumbling. I probably stumbled for another 10 minutes. And I had a thought in my mind, just end the live. No one's going to notice. No one's here anyway, so no one's going to notice, right? And I had to tell myself, don't give in to that thought. That's what a lot of you are doing. Oh, no one's going to notice. Let me just not post today. No one's going to notice. Let me not just go live today. No one's going to notice. I'm not going to sell today. Don't do that. Because again, what you see in the spiritual is more real than what you see in the physical. And a lot of you here have been called to have multi-million dollars and billion-dollar businesses. And it starts right here on social media. Just you showing up and being a blessing to your audience. All right. So I'm going to reset the room. I went a little off topic, but that's okay. Who's still following me? Drop a I'm following. Drop a I'm following in the chat if you're still following me. Right. So we're talking about 5 tips to selling your videos. Thank you, Chanel. Chanel said I'm following. Let me see on Instagram. Let me know if you're still following us. Hey, howdy, favorite. How you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. Okay. So, okay, good. We still got y'all following. 5 tips to sell in your videos. The first tip is to give people what you want. The second tip was to show up even when you're disappointed. Keep on going. And here's the third tip. Solve problems with your content. Solve problems with your content. A lot of you are creating content, right? Well, some of you, I don't know if you're still doing this. I feel like a lot of you have advanced from this, but some of you may be still doing content where you're just showing your life. You're doing lifestyle content. You're showing your life. You're on vacation. You're showing your spouse. You're showing your children. And that's nice and all, but how does that solve problems for your dream client? Like, yes, you want to be personable, but you want to be personable in a way that it still helps your dream client. Now, here's the thing. There's some of you out here where you're obsessed with giving away freebies. Like every time you turn around, you have a new freebie that you are creating because you have it in your mindset that you need all these freebies in order to make a sale. But what if your content was the freebie? What if your content was the freebie? What if people tune into your videos and they learn something for free and it transformed their lives? Would you still need to offer them a freebie, or could you just go ahead and make the sale? That's the mindset shift right there. I'm a firm believer that your content should be changing lives. Your content should be solving problems, and your content is the free thing that you give to your audience. After you give them that free thing, you can give them a lead magnet, but you can make it a low-cost item. It doesn't have to be a freebie because they're already getting the free on your content, especially if you're diligent enough to post 5 times a week. 5 times a week, each month, what is that? 5 times 4. Am I doing that right? 5 times a week times 4, right? So that's 5 days. Okay, just making sure. That's 20 or that's 20, right? Y'all help me. Don't judge me. Just help me, right? Like that's 20 pieces of content every month, right? And now you're doing that for 12 months. So that's 20 times 12. So you're showing up each day and you're helping your audience and you're solving problems. If they're investing that much time into you, do you think that they will buy? I'm going to raise my hand and say yes, because it has happened. I teach my clients how you can show up in your content at least 5 days a week, once a day, not 3 or 4 times a day. Why? Because a lot of the people that I serve are over 40, and it is exhausting to show up 3 or 4 times a day. They have businesses that they're running. They have clients that they are serving. They have children that they got to tend to. So posting 3 or 4 times a day is not going to happen. I mean, I don't even post 3 or 4 times a day, and I'm 37, right? I don't have that 25-year-old energy anymore. Hey, Mimi, thanks for the gift, right? And so, but you can post once a day, high quality content that solves problems for your audience. And then from there, make them an offer. They'll buy from you. Why? Because they already want to buy from you. They're investing so much time into you. And where people are paying attention, guess what? That's where intention goes. And now they want to buy. But the biggest thing is, if you never make them an offer, all you're doing is warming them up to buy from someone else. What a pity that you did all that work, posting content, solving their problems, but you never made the offer, and now they're buying from someone else. We want to get out of that. So when you're putting out your content, solve problems with your content. Yes, awesome. Thank you all on Instagram. Solve problems with your content. Now, some of you are probably wondering, what problems do I solve? Remember those pain points that I talked about at the beginning of this live? You have 5 of those pain points. Solve each one of them. That's it. Solve each one of them. I was helping one of my clients. She's in my membership. A lot of you don't know this, but I have a monthly membership called Plan Post Profit, right? And so she joined us and she didn't know what content to create. So the first thing we did was we identified who her dream client was, and then we identified the 5 pain points that they had. And then I said to her, from these pain points, you create content. Here's how you create the content. You name the pain point in the video and you show them how to solve it. And something just exploded in her mind. She was like, wait, what? For months, she didn't know what to create. For months, she's just showing them behind the scenes. For months, she didn't know how to get her audience to engage with her. And then when I told her, just call out the pain point and solve the problem in the video, something went off. And now she started creating content consistently. Some of you needed to hear that because you're putting out content and you're just grabbing anything and posting it. You have a whole bunch of videos in your phone and you're just posting it, but it's not really doing anything for you. It's only reaching your family and friends. The goal of social media is to reach more than your family and friends. If you wanted to reach your family and friends, you can host a tea party and just invite them over. But your goal is to reach the people who are in another state, in another country, because they've been praying for you. That's why you have a desire to show up to begin with. Your desire to show up is not just for you. It's because there are people who are attached to you and they need what it is that you are selling. But when you show up and you create content for their pain, guess what? You're showing them how to solve this problem. Now, is anyone in here thinking to themselves, but if I show them how to solve this problem, why would they buy from me? Is anyone thinking that? Or some of you may have heard some guru say, you don't want to teach too much because you're giving too much away. That's why they're not buying. If you ever heard that before? I've heard that too. Let me tell you right now, it's all lies. That may have been true for them, but it's all lies. Because in reality, there is no way you can give away so much in 1 minute. No way. If you're putting out 1-minute videos, there's no way you can give away so much. It's impossible. Impossible. When you're putting out 1-minute videos, you're only giving away so much that can change their life in that moment. But it's not going to last forever. They're going to need more. You're only giving them one tip. They need the rest. Another thing is, even if you taught everything in your coaching program, so I'm talking to coaches right now, even if you taught everything in your coaching program on your TikTok, on your LinkedIn, on your Instagram, the only way for them to know that you taught everything is if they piece your whole content together. No one's doing that. No one's going to go all the way back 2 years into your vault on social media and piece it together and be like, this is the strategy right here. No one's doing that. That wouldn't make sense and it wouldn't be the best use of their time. So what are they actually paying for? They're paying for the container in which you have your strategy in. So you can teach as much as you want on social media, but if they want it all in one place, that's why they're paying for your membership. You can teach them where they can get transformations in that 1 minute, but here's the biggest thing. True transformation comes from implementation. So really all they're getting is the information, but they need help with the how. They need help with implementing. The reason why I know I can give away so much is because I already know that people are not going to sit on these lives and implement everything because they have a hard time with implementation. Whether it's a limiting belief like procrastination, perfectionism, imposter syndrome, poverty mindset, there's always something holding people back from truly implementing. So what are they paying for? They're paying to get help to get unstuck. They're paying to get help to get unstuck. Another thing of what they're paying for is community. Please, have you tried building a business by yourself? Did you make it very far? I tried. I'm not going to front. I was so adamant. I was so adamant to build this business by myself. And you know what? Within that first year, when it was just me, I made $21,000. That was good. The second year, when it was just me, the first 3 months, I made $30,000. But I didn't hit 6 figures until I had a team. And I didn't ask for this team, mind you. God was the one telling me, get yourself a team. Hire that editor. I'm setting a VA. And I'm telling him, I don't want these people. I don't want to be reliant on them. And then they leave. But guess what? When I had that community, I was able to scale. So again, When people are paying for you, you don't have to worry about giving away too much. One, it's impossible for you to do that. And two, what they're actually paying for is for you to help them to implement. They're paying for the community and they're paying for the mindset transformation and for your content strategy or whatever strategies you have to be in one section, which is your membership. That's what they're paying for. They're paying for the guide to lead them. Here's the other thing. One last thing that I like to share. Even if I did give everything away, I serve an abundant God. This is me. I'm talking for myself now. I serve an abundant God. So if I gave away everything that I know, guess what's going to happen? He's just going to deposit more. That's just what happens. Some of you, you're not teaching enough. That's why you have the same old strategies. You have the same, and some of them are outdated. You started seeing other people talking about the same things that you're teaching. And you're like, oh my goodness, that's what I'm teaching too. How do I differentiate myself? Keep giving it away. God will give you new ones. That's what happened to me. The more I teach, the more he gives me. The more I teach, the more he gives me. Why? So I can reach more people, so I can be a blessing. He's showing me something. This is a principle. I'm a conduit for blessings. Once he deposits, I can release. He deposits, I can release. So there's no way I'll ever run out of information. There's no way I'll ever run out of things. No way. Because the more I give, the more he downloads. So you can free yourself from all of these limiting beliefs that you're giving away too much. People won't pay you. It's not true. They're paying you for the implementation and for the how. So now, will you show up and actually help them and then make them an offer? Because here's the reality. A lot of my clients are busy. And I use air quotes because I just don't like the word busy. I like to say intentional with my time, right? So a lot of them are intentional with their time. They're running a business. They have to manage their team. They have to manage their family. They have to manage themselves. So they may not have all the time in the world to create content. So what do? I teach them the strategy and then I tell them, but if you want someone to do this for you because you don't have the time to do it, that's how my team can help. Now, if you do have the time to do it, but you need someone to help you walk it out, that's how my team can help. That's why every single one of our offers comes with us helping you. We're holding your hand through it. We're walking you through it because we know what it's like when you're walking together 2 by 2 as opposed to one-on-one. When it's just you can only get but so far. But when it's 2, you can get even further. And if it's 3, oh, you are unstoppable. And that's actually biblical, right? Some of you may know this story where the Israelites, they went to war. Joshua was fighting. I forgot who they were fighting, but they were in the wilderness and they were fighting. And Moses was standing at the top, right? And every time Moses raises his hands, the Israelites will start to win. But every time he dropped his hands, the Israelites will start to lose. And so what happened? Aaron and Hur actually had to stand next to Moses and lift his hands up so that he could keep his hands up long enough for the Israelites to win. That's what community does, so that you don't have to do it alone. So if you're in here and you're like, I need community because I've been doing this by myself. I'm tired of doing it alone. I'm tired of not having someone to ask questions to. Join us in the challenge. For those 5 days, we are your community. And let me tell you what happens in our community. Erica, because she had community, made $750 in 3 days. So when she was by herself, she didn't know what to charge. When she joined community, she made $750 in 3 days. She made a profit in the challenge. Christina, when she had community, she got 30 leads from one video. Without community, she wasn't getting any leads. She was at 474 followers. When she joined the challenge, she got 30 leads from one video. Why? Because she had community. Oh, but don't think it's just leads and sales. Rhonda, when she had community, she went from I don't do videos to she was the best person doing videos in the challenge. That lack of confidence that she had before community was demolished when she joined community. She completely opened up and started shooting these videos. Olivia, she was depressed before the challenge. When she got into community, she found out she was depressed. That thing broke off of her. She started showing up like a flower, like a radiant light in her videos. She didn't even know she was depressed before the challenge. Could you imagine that you are battling things emotionally that you don't even know you're battling until you get in community. And here's the best part: you don't have to wait 3 months for your transformation, you don't even have to wait 60 days. You can get it in 5 days or less. Those are the transformations that we bank on because we know how we can help you, especially when you're called to us. So if you're like, I want community, I want to get help, join us. Second link in my bio, VIP experience. That's where the community starts. So now you have someone who's leading you, but then you also have people who are rallying behind us, behind you. We're kicking off the challenge on June 2nd. So you don't want to wait to get your ticket. You can get it right now just by clicking the second link in my bio, or you can send me a DM that says challenge accepted, and I will personally send you an invite, right? Awesome. Okay, Mimi says, yep, but had failure. Yes, but had failures. I figured out eventually. Oh, yeah, I understand. You're talking about when you were doing it yourself, right? Awesome. Hey, Darren, how you doing? Oh, thank you so much, highly favored. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So I'm going to give you another tip. What was that? I gave you 3 tips so far. So we're talking about 5 tips to selling your videos. The first tip was give people what they want. The second tip, I totally forgot because I actually went off script a little bit. I think it was like get out your own way. The third tip was to solve problems with your content. And here is the fourth tip. The fourth tip is to pray over your videos. Pray over your videos. If you think that your only enemy is the algorithm, you got another thing coming for you. The algorithm isn't your only enemy. There's a real enemy who wants to block your content. Why? Because your business is a blessing, and anyone who buys from you shall be blessed. And your content is anointing, and anyone who watches your content shall be anointed. Could you imagine walking around with that type of power? Sorry, y'all, my TikTok, because I've been live long enough, is telling me to put a puzzle piece in, right? So could you imagine walking around with that power? So much so that it scares other people, especially the enemy, because your business can do a lot of damage to the kingdom of darkness. If you are a finance coach and you're helping people get out of their poverty mindset and you're showing them how to build wealth, of course the enemy wouldn't want you to be out there. Why? Because you're not helping people become wealthy. There is a false belief that the wealth is only for rich people. That's the false belief. But now you're helping poor people get out of a poverty mindset and become wealthy too? What? Of course he's going to stop you. Why do you think that you're so tired on the days that you're supposed to go live? Why do you think that every time you're supposed to shoot your videos, you start getting phone calls? You now got to go pick your kid up early. Why do you think every time you're going to focus on a plan for your business, that one of your clients, something's happening with them? Those are all distractions to stop you, because your business is a blessing and anyone who buys from you shall be blessed. There are some of you out here where you're relationship coaches. You are literally restoring the love back into people's family, back into themselves, and back into their relationships. Why do you think the enemy will want you to get out there? Because we already just talked about the power of community. Your family is your first community. So if you have a strong family, look what you can do. Look what you can do. I want you to think about the Jacksons, right? As I know, we know some of their stories, some of it was not that great. But look how powerful the Jacksons were. Their music, till this day, we still listen to it. Communities that they were shifting with their music, the joy that they were spreading. So imagine you now, you're able to help families like that. And these families are going on and they're building nations and they're building buildings and they're transforming the world. Of course, the enemy will want to stop you. So what do you got to do? Pray over your videos. Not just so that the enemy will not be able to stop it, but so that it can reach the right people. I remember in 2020, and a lot of you don't know this about me, but I have my own ministry. My ministry is called Whisper Hearing God. We teach you how to hear God speak, how to do healing and deliverance, and how to activate your spiritual gifts, right? So part of that healing and deliverance is being able to discern spirits. So in 2020, I remember having a dream, and this demon came to me in my dream and he said, I am the demon of the airwaves, come to keep you out of the airwaves. Now, what was he talking about? Because at that time, I wasn't creating content. I wasn't even in the airwaves. Honestly, I was just praying to God. That's it. But he came to me and he told me this was fall 2020. 1 month later, God releases me to start creating content full time on social media. How is it that he knew that God was going to release me to the airways before I did? Because as I said before at the very beginning of this live, what God shows you in the spiritual is more real than what you see in the physical. There's a whole kingdom that is operating in the spirit world. And whenever God says a thing about you and your business, it goes out in the spirit world first. So the enemy will come and try to stop you. So here's this demon telling me, I'm going to stop you. I don't want you in the airways. That's my territory. And now God is telling me it's time for you to go in the airways. It's time for you to start posting content on social media. It's time for you to start showing up on Clubhouse. And guess what? I had the biggest struggle when I was showing up. My content wasn't being shown. It was being stopped. It was being blocked. Instagram was constantly glitching for me. My TikTok analytics wasn't working for me. Any of you ever went through that before? Where it just seems like technology is against you? That's what I went through, a season of that. I'm still going through part of it now. And guess what? God showed me that I needed to start praying. He was like, you are trying to fight a spiritual battle with carnal weapons, right? My carnal weapons was, I got to get better at my hooks. I got to get better at my videos. I got to get better at this. If I just get better, then my content will get pushed. And God was like, this is not a physical battle. It's a spiritual battle. I need you to pray. And so what started happening? I started praying. Lord, release the followers. Lord, send the video where it needs to be. Let it be a blessing to people. And what started happening? People started seeing my content. The views were still low, mind you, but my engagement was skyrocketing. People were seeing the content. They were hitting me up and telling me, your videos are changing my life. I used to put out a lot of prayer videos. People would tell me that they would download the prayer videos, write it out, and pray it over their lives. That's transformation. That's impact. And the enemy doesn't want you to have that. So what do you got to do? Pray over your videos. Pray over them. Speak a word of anointing over your videos. You have the power to do that. I have someone where she was one of my followers on TikTok, and she released her video, and I think it was stuck at like 200 views, 300 views. And I told her, pray over your videos. She saw one of my videos where I said to pray over your videos. Sis prayed over her videos. The next day she was at 8,000 views on each video. 8,000 views. Okay? There are some of you here, you're speaking word curses over your videos. You're saying, oh, no one's going to see it anyway. It's not going to do good anyway. It's not going to perform anyway. And so because of that, the video's not performing. I remember one time we had someone come into the challenge. She posted her video and she said, no one's going to see it anyway. And I said, take that back and speak life over that video. And guess what she did? She took it back. She spoke life over that video. And guess what happened with that video? More people saw it. More people saw it, right? So here's the thing. The word says to put on the full armor of God on you. But it's not just on you. It's on anything that comes out of you, anything you give birth to, your content you're giving birth to. So put on the armor of God and tell your video where to go. Tell it where to go. Because I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of witches and warlocks that's telling their videos where to go, and they're getting more views than you. They're getting more engagement than you, and they're getting more sales than you, when you are more powerful than they are. So you can tell your videos where to go, and it will go. Pray over those videos so that it can go. Right? All right. So we're doing 5 tips to selling your videos. And I gave 4 tips already. The first tip was to give people what they want. The second tip was to get out of your own way. The third tip was the 4th tip was to pray over your videos. And the third tip was to solve problems with your content. Solve problems with your content, right? And so let me give you this final tip. The final tip is, I have so many tips here. So I'm going to see. Oh, here we go. The final tip is to use call to actions that actually convert. Use call to actions that actually convert. So notice that I said convert. Some of you out here, you're putting out videos and you're telling people like, follow, comment, share. That's too many steps. They're getting lost at the like part. What you want to do is be intentional about the call to actions that you're putting out, right? Mimi, shoot me a DM. We do have PayPal, so I can send it to you via PayPal. So shoot me a DM and then I'll send you the link for PayPal. Right? Okay. So you're putting out too many call to actions. It is losing your audience, right? Because it's too many steps. So what you need to do is shift. Now, here's the thing that a lot of you don't understand about call to actions is that the purpose of a call to action is to train your audience to respond to you and buy from you. That's the purpose of your call to actions, to train your audience to respond to you and buy from you. If they're not honoring your call to actions, chances are they won't buy. So, what do you want to do? You want to start to be intentional about the call to actions that you're putting out there. So, one of my clients, I already told you about her, Christina, when she was going viral, she was like, this is nice and all, but I want to see if they honor the call to action. And they did. Her call to action was for them to buy. From that one video, she got 10 sales in one day. From that one video, she got 18, excuse me, not 18. She was booked up. Yeah, she had 18 new discovery calls from that one video because they honored the call to action. So your call to actions should be training your audience to respond to you and buy from you. So if they're not accustomed to buying it, that means they're not accustomed to responding. So what we do is in a challenge, we show you how to put out call to actions that will train your audience to respond to you. That's the goal, right? So we teach you that there are psychologies when it comes to there's a psychology behind your call to actions. And when you join the challenge at the VIP level, guess what? You get access to the masterclass call to actions that actually convert, where you can learn the psychology behind call to actions and how you can use them to get people to buy, how you can use them to grow your community, and how you can use them to get people to book on your podcast, right? I know that's something like different. Some of you are like, book on your podcast. Yeah. When you're on social media, the goal is to sell, yes. The goal is to grow your following, yes. But it's also to expand your network. So your call to actions, you want to make sure you're intentional when you're putting them out. So I want to use this example from Lori. She's a fitness entrepreneur. Before she joined us in the challenge, she was putting out content. People were loving it, but they weren't buying. They weren't engaging. So I think she was getting a lot of views and likes, but they weren't buying and they weren't engaging. Then she joined the challenge. We showed her how to sell in her videos and how to use her call to actions. And guess what happened? Right then and there, she got 3 leads when she posted the strategy. When she posted the video, she got 3 leads. And she was like, Star, oh my goodness, I said exactly what you told me to say in my video, and I got 3 leads. It's not hard to sell, y'all. And it's not hard for people to buy. It's just about you showing up and knowing what to say. It's also about you getting out of your way and thinking that selling is a bad thing, because it's not. It's actually a wonderful thing. I want you to think about this. If the supermarket never sold to you, how would you buy food? How would you buy groceries? If the clothing stores never sold to you, how would you be clothed? If the car dealerships never sold to you, how would you drive your car? If you live in New York City and the bus system never sold to you, how would you get from point A to point B without walking? Everywhere you turn, people are selling. So you are doing yourself and your people a disservice when you don't, when you think it's icky or you feel slimy. I remember the biggest thing that I didn't want to happen to me when I was selling happened to me. I never wanted someone to look at me like, man, you really trying it right now. And I remember last year I was talking to someone and I was selling to her and I was overcoming objections. And then she gave me the look. And I felt so small and so uncomfortable. And I was like, dang, that was the one thing I never wanted to happen when I was selling. And guess what happened? 1, I didn't make the sale. And 2, I felt horrible after that. It probably tripped me up another calls after that. But what did I do? I kept going. Because here's what I learned. There are some people who are just not going to buy, and that's okay. There are some people who are going to look at you like you're crazy, and that's okay. Do you think that when Apple was charging $2,000 for their phone, yeah, I said $2,000, that they was over here like, yeah, we don't want to charge that much because we think it's too much for our clients and we don't want them to look at us crazy? No, they knew that they were going to change our lives with these phones. All my Samsung people was like, no, that's just a cult, whatever. Say what you want. I use my phone right now, I use it for business. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of you who do that too. I can write my phone off on my taxes because I use it for business. Showing up on social media, you need a phone to do that. I mean, now a lot of them give you the capability of using your computer, but you need a phone to do that. But if Apple never sold to me, I wouldn't be able to have this luxury and be able to reach you with high quality videos. So I want you to think about that. How can you help someone by selling to them? How can you shift your strategy to sell every day? How can you get out of your own way to be a blessing? Because true blessings come when people have transformation, and transformation can only come when people implement, and implementation only happens when they buy from you. That's it. Have you ever met someone who watched all your videos? They never bought, but they were stuck in the same place. 1 year later, they're still in the same place. 2 years later, they're still in the same place. You ever met someone like that? I met several people like that. They didn't buy from me, but they watched my content. They got on the sales call and they were just like, oh no, I'm not going to buy. And 5 years later, my business is soaring and they're still in the same place. What did that tell me? Because they didn't invest. They weren't blessed. That part. You want to understand that. Don't hinder your people from being blessed because you're afraid of telling them how much it costs. Don't do that. Let them buy from you because if you're not selling to them, someone else is. You know how many times I see women investing in weaves? $300 for a weave on your head, but don't know how to make investments. They don't know how to make that money back. There's so many people out there where they're going on luxury vacations, and there's nothing wrong with going on luxury vacation. But what's happening is they don't know how to create wealth. There's a disconnect there. And so every month they're relying on their paycheck. But if they lost their job today, they will lose their home tomorrow because they had not figured out how to create wealth. And I'm not going to stop myself from selling because I think that they think that it's icky. No, 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 no. I'm going to be a blessing because when I learned how to create wealth, guess what happened for me? I never needed another 9 to 5. Even when my business wasn't making as much sales, I still didn't need a 9 to 5. I was just like, you know what? We just need to shift our strategy. That's it. So if you're in here and you're like, I want to know how to create wealth. I want to keep on creating wealth. I want to build more wealth. And not just wealth for me, but generational wealth. I want to be able to pass my business on to my family. I want to leave a financial legacy. If you're like, that's what I want to do, click the second link in my bio. Join us in the VIP experience for the challenge so we can help you. That's the goal. When we help you, guess what happens? Each one teach one. Is that how it goes? Each one teach one. I remember the first year, I invested about $50,000 in coaching programs, and I only made $21,000 back. And I remember looking at God like, what's up? Because you told me to join these coaching programs. Why did I only make 21K back? And God said, but I taught you how to create wealth. And what I learned was that was a valuable skill. Because once you have a skill, it can never be taken away from you. And so now, guess what? The following year, I built my business to 6 figures. That was quick. I didn't do it in the first year, but the following year I did, and that was quick. Right? All right. So if you want to join us in the challenge, click the second link in my bio, become a VIP experience member, join us in the VIP mixer next week. So only the first 5 people get to join us in the VIP mixer where we get to meet personally. I get to meet you. You get to meet me. You get to meet my team, how we're going to set you up for success in the challenge, right? We help you to get momentum in your business when you're posting your content. And then we show you a VIP visibility strategy for high ticket. That's what we do. We teach our clients how you can sell high ticket. So there's some of you in here where you have a high ticket offer, but you haven't been selling it online because you believe that you have to sell low ticket before you get high, before people pay you a lot of money. That's not true. Let me see. For me, I was always selling high ticket. No, I wasn't. I sold low ticket at first, but I realized it wasn't making enough money. It just not enough to change my life. So I shifted to high ticket. Now I teach my clients how to sell high ticket, and they are so much better for it. Right? All right. So I want to, the challenge is for the coach where you're using Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, or YouTube. So any social media platform, you already have an audience, right? So even if you have an email list, you already have an audience, whether it's 1,500 people, 2,000 people, 10,000 people, 100,000 people, but you don't know how to convert them into into customers. We show you how to do that in a challenge with our video formulas for selling in your videos. Right? So we show you how to do that. Very simple. right? If you are a coach and you're capped between 8 to 10K months, you want to be able to scale to 30K months, 50K months, and you're not sure how to do that, right? Because there's a part of you that feels icky selling in your videos. We show you how to overcome that and how to sell to your audience by serving them. That's what we do. So now you're showing up authentically, you're creating deep connections with them, and then you're selling to your audience by serving them. And lastly, the challenge is also for the service provider, the business owner, or the coach, where you've already built your business successfully. Your issue isn't sales, it's visibility. In your inner circle, everyone knows about you. In your city, you're making impact, but you're ready to make a bigger impact online. You're ready to expand your network. You want more people to hear about you. And guess what? It is not selfish for more people to hear about you. It is not awkward or odd because you have a desire for more people to hear about you. It is not, what is the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the exact word, right? But it is not an issue that you desire to be famous. There's some of you in here where you're like, no, 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 I need to humble myself. I need to push that down. God gave you the desire to be famous. That's why he sent you to social media. This is your start. Look how many people became famous just from social media. Tabitha Brown, Kev on Stage, Ariel Fitz, Myron Golden. So many people know them because of social media. That is also your fate. But you have to decide, let's show up, let's do this. And decide, I need help. So we show you how to increase your visibility now so that you're not just getting sales through word of mouth and referrals, you're also getting it when you show up online through your content being a blessing. Right? So in the challenge, we teach you these 5 things. It's the 5 P's to prosperity on social media. On day 1, we show you how to position your brand just like Jesus did. Jesus, he went town to town, not door to door. So there's some of you where you're like, Star, I'll join the challenge, but I want to find my clients first. I want to find my dream audience first. But what's happening is you're looking for them, they're looking for you, and you're missing each other. What happens if you position yourself and call them to you? That's what Jesus did. Each town he went to, he positioned himself and he called the people to him. So we show you how to do that. Day 2, we show you how to package your message in your videos using the power of storytelling. You telling stories in your videos is what's going to get you to relate to your audience. Some of you, you are one story away from a 5K deal. Some of you, you're one story away from a 10K deal. But which story will you tell in order to convert? Day 3, we show you how to produce a 6-figure content strategy. Why? Because the goal isn't to make 5K today and then never make it again. The goal is to scale your business 30K months, 50K months, 100K months. But in order for that to happen, you got to know what is the strategy that's going to produce the 6 figures. So we show you what to do with your content in order for that to happen. Day 4, we show you how to present your offer in your videos so that now you're confidently selling without feeling salesy, feeling icky, or slimy. Instead, you know that people want to buy from you. It makes it easier to show up. And day 5, how to profit from your videos. We show you a simple system so that you can create predictable 5-figure months from your content. How many of you in here would love to have predictable 5-figure months from your content? That you already know when I post this is what gets me sales. When I post this is what gets me followers. When I post this is what gets me engagement. That type of clarity. So if you're in here, you're like, that's what I desire. That's what I want. You can feel free to DM me the word challenge accepted. If you're on Instagram, you can comment the word challenge accepted. Or you can head to the second link in my bio and get your VIP ticket and be one of the first 5 people to sign up to join us. All right. Y'all have a great day today. I am going live again Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern. I'm going to be talking about how I use AI to plan 30 days of content. So that's Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern. I go live on all my platforms. All of the lives are scheduled for the rest of the month. So you can actually just register for them. How I use AI to plan 30 days of content, Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern. I'll see you there.